you guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Cheney and I'm a homeschooling mom of 3 kids ages 11, 4, and 10 months. And today I'm going to share with you some educational activities to do with a child anywhere from 9 to 12 months is the prime age, but this could also work for kids that are a little older. Now, I know that sounds weird to say homeschooling supplies for a baby, and certainly when my older boys were babies, if you had asked me if I homeschooled them, I would have looked at you strange. But honestly, everything that we're working with children at every stage is our way of educating them. Every home is a school in its own way. And so, whether you're a homeschooler or just a parent with a young baby, I just thought I would share with you some tools that I have found to be incredibly effective at fostering certain development stages. So, the first thing I wanted to show you, and the biggest piece of advice that I can give you, just in general with any kid, homeschooler or not, is read to your children, speak to your children. Particularly, don't baby talk to your baby. Speaking in a higher octave is one thing, but try not to Uja Weedle baby, don't talk to your children like that. It actually extends delayed speech. If you are speaking to your children, maybe in a higher octave, but instead of saying, "You won't go sleepies," you say, "Do you want to go to sleep?" It will foster a faster development of active speech. Particularly talking to your children while you're doing things too, and I'll go through the way that I speak to my children while we're working through these activities. But just speaking to your children in general and reading to them. Read to them from the day that they're born until the day that they leave your house. There is never a time when it is not good for your children to read to your children. This book in particular I chose because my 4-year-old and my daughter now, my daughter more so than my 4-year-old when he was a baby, absolutely loved this book. This is a part of a bigger series. These are called the Usborne Touchy-Feely books. It doesn't have to be this specific book or this specific series of books. I just chose this one because it in particular, it checks off more than one box with my kids. So with this book, each page it'll say, "That's not my giraffe, its horns are too fuzzy," and when they feel the horns, it's fuzzy. "That's not my giraffe, its tail is too tufty," and my daughter will sit there for a minute and just flip the pages, and she'll try to grab the mane and touch the mane. If you hear screaming, I'm sorry, guys. It's Friday night, my kids are losing it. This one's silky, and then when they get older, each page has a little mouse on it, and so it becomes more so trying to read the words and find the mouse. But yeah, my kids love this book, and this is a multi-sensory book, so if you can't get this specific book or specifically get multi-sensory books, it's fine. If you can engage your child in other ways when it comes to reading, such as reading in funny voices when certain things are said, or if the book says, "He put his hands up in the air," and then you put your hands up in the air and encourage your child to raise their hands at that part of the book too, just to sort of engage them, is probably the best thing out of anything you see today. This is probably the best thing that you can do for your child, particularly when they're learning language. At this stage of development, they're really absorbing everything that you're saying to them and everything that you're doing, and it just helps to speak to your child and to read to your child. So the next thing I'm going to show you are these 2 Montessori style puzzles. Now, I enjoy a lot of Montessori philosophy. I wouldn't necessarily call myself a Montessori specific follower. I think Dr. Montessori had a lot of great ideas, and I try to follow them, but some of her ideas I find a bit antiquated and just don't fit very well in the year of our Lord 2021, so I don't use them. But the Montessori way to go about these would be to start with this one, and that way they're just focusing on, smaller, middle, biggest, and picking it up and finding the one that it fits. I will go through and say things like 1, 2, 3, you know, or if I have them all up off of it, I'll go 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, all gone. And, you know, so that will be sort of the game we play. My daughter isn't quite where she can specifically, she's starting to really try to get it in its spot, but she just developed this pincer grip right here. So I'm sure she'll be able to get it in soon. And then you would move up to this. So you would say, you know, the square is red, the circle is blue, the triangle is yellow. Or you could practice picking it up and matching it in the correct spot. You could count 1 triangle, 1 circle. I just did that backwards, I'm sorry. 1 square, 1 circle, 1 triangle. You can tell I probably have it shaped. I have it facing her, so I'm usually starting with the triangle. But yeah, you could do it different ways like that. This is really great. This is, you know, it works different. Different skills can be earned through this, and as they get older, it works for longer. My 4-year-old will also play with these with her. So, you know, there's some things that you buy, and then as soon as they pick up the skill, which they're going to do in a month, the whole thing is obsolete. For those types of Montessori activities, I would DIY. But this is something that I would say would be worth the purchase to keep. The next thing that I can't recommend highly enough are Mega Blocks. You can find these at any Dollar General on every corner in America. My 11-year-old played with them, my 4-year-old played with them, my daughter plays with them. All 3 of them will still play with them together. You can do colors, you can do numbers. There's really, you can do bigger and smallest. There is no downside to Mega Blocks. Mega Blocks are better than Legos for this age because they're bigger, and they save your feet. And yeah, I can't recommend highly enough. Moving up from the Mega Blocks, which if you just stick with the Mega Blocks, that's fine. For my daughter this year, I actually bought a new set, which my 4-year-old and my 11-year-old play with equally, is this set. I got this off of Amazon. Play and Learn Early Soft Building Blocks. Each one has a, you know, an extended shape, a symbol. It's got, this one's got a pig, an inserted space to stack, right? And then some have numbers on them. If I can find one, it's another simple one. Here we go. So, you know, this can, you can use this for identifying different mile markers. You can identify the number 9, and then it will have 9 bumps, or, you know, what is that? I don't know what that is. Acorn, I guess? I'm not sure. A monkey. So this one would go on this minus sign. So it's also a stackable block. I don't think these stack very well. Like my 4-year-old plays with these, and I guess it's to make it harder for them to fall apart, but I would prefer the other stackable blocks that I'll show you in a minute. But I did get these and I wanted to share them. This is something that I do that is super soft, so they can chew on it, and then as they get older they can see the shapes, they have colors, numbers, number sense. So there's that. But this is sort of new to me, but I still wanted to include it in the video. Next thing This is very specific to this age range, is the Object Permanent Bond Box. Now this is another Montessori activity. And the way that this works is they practice picking up the ball and they put it in and it comes back out. This teaches them that even though the ball disappears for a second, it comes back. It teaches them to follow and look for the ball to come back out. My daughter is just getting to where she can put it, like trying to match it up into here and let it go is what she's working on now. She's pretty much figured out, you know, where to look for the ball to come out again. But again, this is something that my 4-year-old will play with her, so it still has a more permanent use to it. So I thought I would include it. But this is something that you would generally start around 6 months, I think, and then 6 months to 12 months. I introduced it to her later, and she really didn't want anything to do with it. But now, now that she's figured it out, she plays with it more. The next thing I want to show you is this mirror that I made. Now this I made from a piece of like a shelf that we couldn't put the shelf together, but I still had this piece. And I bought these pieces of mirror. These are baby safe mirrors, so they won't break. This pack of 6 was, I think, like $6 on Amazon. That I just took them. They're adhesive, so I stuck them to this old piece of shelf that I had lying around, and now she has a mirror. Mirrors are so important for particularly babies, but even young children. And my daughter loves this. Now, less so now that she's mobile and able to sort of pull herself up to stand on her own. But still, this is a super cheap way to have a baby safe mirror. If you can't afford to get like one of those big ones that you put on the wall, or like have your own playroom, because I certainly have never had a playroom, this is for the win. The next thing that I'm going to show you, I get these from literally the dollar store where everything is $1. These are 2 iterations of it. So these are the ones that I had for my my 4-year-old when he was little, and he still has two have survived. And then this is from the more recent purchase that I made. Every time I see these, I try to buy them. This was full, so they get lost in the works. But this is good for color sorting, so you can sort them. You know, you can put the reds together and the blues together and the greens together, right? This is good for stacking and understanding sort of physics. So you stack them all up, and then, oh, now they kind of understand how things tumble. It helps them to get some spatial reasoning, right? And then the game that I used to play with my 4-year-old is to develop number sense. So we would roll the dice, and then whatever it would land on, we'd yell out the numbers. So 1, and then we'd roll it again. 5, roll it again. 2. Now that he's older, we'll use 2 or 3, right? So we'll roll 2 or 3, and real quick, 2, 2, 1, 5. Roll them again. You know, 8. And so this can go either way. You can do addition. You could use this to start doing multiplication, right? So 3 times 3. 3 threes is 9. 4 threes, 12. You could skip count. 3, 6, 9, 12. Just depends whichever stage you're at. You know, if you want to add just the 2 numbers, you can do it. If you just want to learn the number sense of 1 through 6, these are great for that. The number sense of 1 through 12, they're great for that. And then by the time they get to addition and multiplication, these still work. They can still be used to build things. They can still be used for spatial reasoning. They can be used for color sorting. There's 4 for $1. You can't lose. This is a great purchase if you have a young one, and it sticks through the years up to, you know, learning multiplication. It's still applicable. The next thing I'm going to show you is this spinning drum. This is another Montessori style activity. Now, This wasn't something that either of my boys had. I didn't even know that this existed until after they were babies. But this basically just helps them learn, you know, how to spin. And then as they get older, you've got, again, the different colors to learn. And then a mirror, which you can tell these have all been played with. So, yeah, but just this action, it makes the noise, so cause and effect, and then different colors. This was another thing that she didn't really want much to do with. It had been recommended for 6 months, so I bought this as well as the object permanent box. When she was 6 months, she didn't really want much to do with them, but now she absolutely loves this thing. She plays with it all the time. Oh, I had this over here. Okay. So, the next thing I want to show you, now I've got a few things in this box. These are all things that my son had, so I'm probably going to have to replace these again. But this is another thing that I buy every time I come across it, are these foam puzzle pieces. Now, these small ones are also from the dollar store. They were $1. This is one piece. I think this might be the only piece that's left of this set, but it had 0 to 4, and so it can be used to put together prisms. It could be used for, you know, making different numbers. It could be used for place value. We use these for everything. Again, I believe they came in different colors, so we could sort them by color. This is left over. I had a shape mat in my 4-year-old's room when he was a baby, and this is left over from that. As you can tell, it's really old, but this was literally what my 4-year-old used to learn his shapes on. It was a puzzle mat just like this, and this was the insert. This is just one of the pieces that have survived from all the breaking and throwing away and stuff. So I just included it to tell you that, like, playing with shapes, inserting them into the puzzle mats is just, it's both fun for them, and it just helps to identify all the different shapes. You can count the sides together, you can trace it together. When they're little, you can talk about the colors. My son would pretend to make hats, or he would, again, build cubes out of the different puzzle pieces. It's just a really good purchase, and they're usually not very expensive. Again, this is just another one of the puzzle mats that I've gotten over the years. This, to me, in my opinion, is the best movable alphabet for a young child, particularly in the baby ages. This is the foam that isn't fragile enough for them to break off pieces if they chew on it. It just wipes clean if it gets dirty or gets spit up on it or anything. They can spell letters with it. As you can tell, my 4-year-old son's name is Jimmy, and those are the pieces that are up, or his name. This is how he learned how to spell his name. He put the puzzle pieces together to build his name. So, and then again, I have numbers. I've got all the letters. Now, I have the insert pieces, or what's left of them. They just kind of have fallen down into the bottom of the foam bin. But yeah, these are, if you're going to have a movable alphabet for them to, you can use this to, that's backwards. No, it's not. Anyway, you can use this for them to finger trace the letters. You can use it as puzzle pieces for them to put the letters in. They can use the inserts as their own movable alphabet. You can make cubes. My 4-year-old loves to make 3D shapes out of these, you know. Super multifaceted, and that's what I like. I like things that can grow with them and still continue to be fun and educational. Last but not least, musical instruments. So this was included with one of those like little baby playlands, and you know, once she's done with this part, I'll put it all back together with the playland. But this is a baby piano. Anything that involves exploring making sounds, so you grab it, you shake it. This is sort of a run-of-the-mill baby rattle, but this is also a maraca. Music is one of the only, music and when we read books are the only things that my baby my daughter actually actively participates in our homeschool, and music is by far her favorite. So this is just a little rhythm percussion kit that I bought, again, off of Amazon, I'm pretty sure. And it's just got all of the different younger aged noise makers, I call them, right? A tambourine, she especially likes this. We've got bells, different things for her to pick up and shake, but nothing with a small enough piece to come off and choke her. And that's how I like it. We've got a triangle in here. She hasn't really played with the xylophone. The xylophone and the triangle are more of my boys' favorites, but you know, like this maraca, she loves this maraca. She loves these bells. These bells actually wrap around like your wrist, or you can grip it this way and shake them. She enjoys that very much as well. And that is going to do it for this video, you guys. If you guys have any suggestions or anything for a young baby, please let me know. I am always down for more ideas and different ways to have fun while also, you know, not spending $1,000 like a lot of people will have you think that you need to if you want to, you know, educate your child on a level that early. A lot of people make you think, oh, you have to have this fancy playroom and you have to have this Montessori Pikler and a jungle gym in your playroom, and no, it's not necessary. You can use all of these things and your child will be just as developmentally excellent as they would have otherwise. It really doesn't take all of the Instagram pizzazz that people make you think it does. So that's it for my video. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you later. Bye.